Hello, my name is Dominic Steinhauer. I'm one of the senior lecturers here at the University of North Dakota, and one of the classes that I teach is a manufacturing processes lab, and with that, the welding shop is one of the ones that we utilize with that. So I'll open the door for you, you just come right inside. So one of the first things I want to mention as we walk into the room, typically safety glasses are required. We don't have any of the placards, but for any time that I am in here with class or when students are utilizing it, they are required to wear the safety glasses. For our video demo today, we're going to leave them tucked in just so we can speak a little bit easier. Next to me, we've got our fire extinguisher, we've got our fire blanket, and we do have our first aid kit on top of our circuit cabinet there. And next to me along this side, we have a bank of welding hoods, as well as our welding shirts. We've got gloves, we've got grinding shields, acetylene torch, goggles, all of the above to help facilitate welding. One of the things I would like to mention with that is we do actually have a few of the ones that are auto tint color changing. We utilize these for when we are teaching the welding class and for those design projects that are utilizing welding. They work out great for the instructor to have one, and then the person obviously that is doing the welding, and then probably the next couple of students next to that, so that they can all see a very easy way to be able to see the welds as we're utilizing and doing it. So with that, let's take a look at the welders. We'll wander this way. Our first two here are our stick welders. You can see above on the top across all of these, they have their own individual emergency shutoffs if need be. If you can't get to the switch on the machine, you got the switch up there. Kill it off whenever we need to. We'll take a step back one more here, and we have our TIG welder. We utilize this in class as well as design projects as well. One thing to know with that is right next to the TIG welder, we do have a grinding wheel. This wheel is specifically only for the resharpening of the TIG welder tips. There's some specialty wheels with that. We want to make sure that it's not utilized for anything else. And again, anytime when we're using a grinder, we want to make sure that we have gloves off so that nothing that can get sucked in or anything with that. Step back a little bit more here. We have our bank of our wire feed welders. Some various sizes and connections with that, again, utilized in the manufacturing process lab, as well as students have access to this for design projects and utilization. Come back a little bit further this way, and tucked away in the corner here, we do have a machine for bending of tubing, so we can utilize this. It is on wheels, so we can roll it out into the shop floor a little bit more whenever it's utilizing for larger pieces of equipment. Next, you'll see a very industrial sized looking dryer. What does a dryer need to do in a welding shop? Well, we do some of our own washing and drying of our any kind of shop racks. We'll show over there in the corner a little bit later, we have the washer that goes along with it. So we try to maintain that ourselves here. Next to me here, we have a sheet metal bender. We're able to utilize and bend sheet metal with this. It's utilized as part of the design projects. Typically, I don't use it as part of lecture, but it is available for students to use for projects. We'll circle around this way. We have a pair of brakes here. Again, we have to be very cognizant of any kind of pinch points with any of these. Students are talked to extensively on that before utilizing any of these pieces of equipment. We do have a press and a apparatus there for bending up flaps and corners for making like boxes and that kind of thing. We'll come over this way next. Here we have a bandsaw. Again, we want to make sure that we're very cognizant of the blade, not only keeping our hands out of the way, but also making sure that we're not trying to utilize any changing motion too much so that we can snap the blade or hook the piece that we're working on and cause any other kinds of injuries. So, again, students are taught about that before they're allowed to utilize. We have two other grinders here and sanding units. Again, we want to make sure that we're not wearing gloves. We don't want to get our hands sucked into these at all. Next to this, we've got our sink and wash station. In an emergency, this can be utilized as an eye wash station. We do have a professional eye wash station just right across the hall and the professional machine shop. As I mentioned before, we have our wash machine, again for the towels, here in the corner. Rotate over to this side, and we have our spot welder. Again, utilized as part of the manufacturing process lab, as well as different design projects. Behind me, we have our CNC plasma cutter. We have a lab specifically for this, and this gets utilized extensively for design projects, whether it's senior design or student design on up through the different semesters. You'll notice here we do have our nice cover, our sheet here. This is to help prevent plasma torch flash at all when someone's walking through the door behind me. This is also movable, so it can be moved around and placed up by that door as well when someone is going to be utilizing the welding tables. Again, we want to make sure we have the ability so that when someone walks in and they don't know that either the plasma cutter is being utilized or welding is being utilized, that they won't accidentally get any kind of flash for their eyes. Behind these, we have our hand plasma torch and our acetylene torch. Again, the different safety equipment for that is along the wall there. It can be further utilized. And the last thing I'd like to point out to you guys is our exhaust hood up above. And the controls for that are over on the far door right there. So, thank you for wandering through, doing the tour. Again, I'm Dominic Steinhauer. If you have any questions about the lab or anything like that, please direct it to me. I'll do my best to answer as quickly as possible. And I'd just like to say thank you. Have a good day.